All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that is literally unprecedented in the entire history of finance. We're going to break down the anatomy of a $200 billion fall, and the absolute wildest part, the subsequent bounce back. I want you to just try and wrap your head around that scale for a second. We are talking about wealth fluctuation on a level that totally defies logic. So let's get right into it. Just look at that number. $200 billion. With all those zeros, Elon Musk managed to accomplish something no other human in history has ever done. He lost that exact amount of money in just 14 short months. It was such a staggering, massive drop that it officially set a Guinness World Record for the biggest wealth loss ever recorded in human history. It's honestly kind of hard to even visualize that much wealth just vanishing in a little over a year. Section 1. The biggest loss ever. So, how is a financial collapse of this magnitude even mathematically possible? Well, to figure that out, we have to anchor ourselves at the very top. In November of 2021, Musk was basically on top of the world, worth a staggering $340 billion. Then we hit 2022, which brought a brutal 65% crash, just completely eroding a monumental chunk of that net worth. But fast forward to 2023, and we see a total recovery, this massive V-shape in his wealth. It's a complete round trip from the absolute peak down to a historic valley and right back up again.
Section 2, 3 steps to the bottom. What's absolutely crucial to understand here is that 3 very specific things went wrong in rapid succession. It was basically a cascading failure. Step 1, he offered to buy Twitter for a massive $44 billion. Now, as you probably know, to fund an acquisition of that immense size, you need immediate liquid capital. So step 2, he sold $40 billion worth of his own Tesla stock. And honestly, this is where the dominoes really start falling. Selling off that much stock suddenly scared the other investors. It signaled a massive shift. And that fear leads directly to step 3. Because investors were so spooked by his own sell-off, Tesla stock crashed by 65% over the course of 2022.
65%. That is the exact percentage of value wiped out from Tesla stock in 2022. Because his wealth was so heavily concentrated in that single stock, this specific drop was the crushing blow. It brought his total net worth plummeting all the way down from that $340 billion peak down to $137 billion. Now, obviously, he was still incredibly wealthy, but it cemented that $200 billion world record loss. It really goes to show how concentration in a single asset absolutely amplifies your vulnerability during a downturn. Section 3, the billion-dollar rebound. But here's the real question. How did it happen? I mean, think about that for a second. How do you recover from a $200 billion crater in just a matter of months? Was it some secret new company? A massive new invention? When you suffer the biggest personal financial loss in human history, how do you bounce back so quickly to become the richest person in the world once again? Actually, the underlying strategy was remarkably simple. He just held his remaining Tesla shares and waited for the market to recover. That's it. That is the big secret to the rebound. He didn't panic. Instead of selling off the rest of his portfolio while the market was in deep turbulence to try and salvage what was left, he patiently held on to his remaining shares. He simply waited it out until the value returned. It takes incredible restraint to watch billions disappear and do absolutely nothing. But in this specific case, doing nothing was the key to the recovery.
Section 4, the lesson on panic.
The whole mechanic behind this temporary dip really comes down to the reality of paper losses. And what a paper loss is a loss that only exists in theory until the asset is actually sold. So on paper, his net worth dropped by $200 billion because the current trading price of his stock went down. But, and this is a huge but, because he didn't sell those remaining shares at that rock bottom price, he didn't lock it in. It remained a paper loss, which allowed it to eventually